follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Top of the morning to you. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. This show is brought to you by DraftKings. Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard with you live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Nigel Seeley on the program coming up. Best bets in soccer in about 30 minutes. More on tonight's college basketball card, and we'll begin this hour talking some Major League Baseball as so many sports books, DraftKings would be one of them, offering just a plethora of markets to bet into this year for future numbers and odds that you can get into. I found the longest winning streaks for each individual team to be fascinating, meaning you can bet on any team that you would like, and they have a number posted. For example, the Atlanta Braves, what will their longest winning streak be this season for the entire regular season? It's 9.5 over is plus 155. Now, some of these popular teams are going to be super sexy to look at and say, oh, they're easily going to win 10 games. The under on the Braves is 9.5. In that division, of course, the Phillies are the number one foe this season. Mets totally fallen back to the pack. Nationals still a long ways away. And the Marlins probably will be pretty decent. The Orioles were a total, surprise by many last year, winning 100 games. Their longest winning streak is 7.5. They added Corbin Burns this year, but they're playing in the gauntlet of a division in the American League East. So you go down and look at all these teams. I looked immediately for the Dodgers. I wanted to see where they were going to put this team. So I saw 9.5 on them at plus 140 to the over. And again, it's been a chalky Tuesday morning here for me. But I had to go over and play that at that number for Los Angeles because the team, their win total overall is 103.5. That division, it has the Rockies, who are PU. The Diamondbacks obviously made the World Series. I think the Giants are going to be good this year. And I don't think the Padres are going to be awful, despite losing, Juan Soto and not getting Blake Snell back. But if you go back and look at Dodgers teams in recent years and the longest winning streaks they've had, last year they had an 11-game winning streak. The year before they had a 12-game winning streak. In 2021, they had a 9-game winning streak twice that season. In 2020, that was the pandemic year. They still had a 7 and a 6-game winning streak, and that was a season they were on pace to win 116 games. In 2019, the longest winning streak was 7 games, did that twice. In 2017, they had an 11 and a 10-game winning streak. Well, in recent years, have they had any team that's been better than this season's squad? Maybe the year they had Trevor Bauer, I think their win total was 106.5 or something like that. It was absolutely nuts because their pitching staff was so good, and they eventually, I think, still went over that win total. Maybe that was the season where they were as good as this team, but they added Ohtani, and I think the pitching's going to be awesome again this year.
Yamamoto, too.
Of course.
Yeah, that's another one. I mean, it's
the top of the order is going to go
fair.
Betts, Ohtani, and Freeman.
Mm-hmm.
The 1, 2, 3. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. The lineup's ridiculous.
So,
yeah, I mean, you got some question marks about the starting rotation. So the injury run they've been on, but it just figures that. I mean, who's going to slow this offense down?
Right. I think, and then once they get Buehler back, we'll see about Kershaw. Yes, he gets a bad, he gets the red flag because of the postseason. Last year in the regular season, Kershaw really good yet again. But I think the pitching staff's going to be fine, and I had to go over 9.5 with that team. The Yankees are 8.5 over is plus 155. Now, the Astros probably got better in the offseason. Mm-hmm. Their longest winning streak is 8.5. That over is plus 125, but they play in a pretty grueling division at the top. Rangers, champions from last year. Mariners with a high win total again this year. The Cubs' longest win streak is 7.5. Over is plus 120.
Why are the Yankees going to get Snell? I mean, people in New York say it's going to happen, but that's...
What's taking so long?
Right. I mean, that's a game changer if they get him, though, and then it really helps your rotation, and I expect a big year out of Soto, too. But if you can go Cole Snell to start out, but that was supposed to be done. So that's... And then where does Montgomery land, too? But that's still a big ask, though, with the Yankees if they win 9 in a row in a good division. I feel the same. I love this Oriole team, and acquiring Burns is big, and we'll see Jackson Holiday too. But that's That's a big ass, too, in those divisions.
Totally agree.
That's a tough division, the good teams you're seeing.
Oh, it's an absolute beast this year. Those are the sexiest teams. How about some of the teams that are really, really bad, like the A's? Remember last year when they went on that 6 or 7 game winning streak out of nowhere when they were a huge dog in all those games? Their longest win streak at BetMGM is 4.5 games. Over is plus 125. I think they can string together a 5-game winning streak. They'll probably only win like 60 games this year, but I can see one streak happening. The longest losing streaks for some of these teams, the Braves. Will they have a 6-game losing streak this year? You can go over 5.5 at plus 145. With that offense, now this morning, Ronald Acuna, some questions about his knee. He's been cleared, evidently. He's going to be ready for opening day. With that pitching staff and that offense, are they going to lose 6 straight at any point? Dodgers, same thing. If you think the Dodgers are going to have a 6-game losing streak this year, you can bet over 5.5 at plus 155.
That's hard to imagine. I know there's ebbs and flows, and it's a long season, and it's a sport built on streaks, but that's hard to imagine that would happen. The other one, I mean, but the when you look at the god-awful teams, the Rockies and the A's, though, I mean, that's aggressive, but you could certainly, I mean, they're not going to lose 10 in a row, both of them. I mean, look how low these win totals are, how bad they are. The A's, a team nobody wants. I mean, that figure, in the Nationals, too, at 8.5. Rockies, A's, Nationals. And then what do you do with the Angels at 7.5? That's another tough one. But that, I mean, if I'm Trout, I just say, get me out of here. I don't know. What's the point of sticking around? I mean, why would you punish yourself and do this and torment yourself, right?
Yeah.
Just say, let me get. I don't have a lot of years left, right? Let me go somewhere where I can finish out my career and finally make the playoffs and do something. But do you agree though? Rockies, like these are some bad teams.
Oh, they're terrible.
We're talking of win totals in the 50s. Look at these 58.5 win total, right? Rockies, A's, they're going to lose 10 in a row.
Nationals,
Yeah.
it's 8.5. You could also bet on the longest regular season winning streak by any team. Dodgers 5-1. Braves 6-1. If you want to get nuts, A's, White Sox, Rockies all are at 250-1. But just going up, back and down on the app. Excuse me. Boy, this is fun. How about the Twins at 17-1 for the longest winning streak?
Yeah, I was intrigued by them. Now I know the fan base is furious because they didn't really do much with the payroll, and they finally won a playoff series for the first time. And then Sonny Gray walks, and that's, could they stay healthy? Do they hit a ton of home runs again? I'm concerned about the pitching staff. And then, the other one would be the Cardinals. Where you just throwing, I mean, look at the guys there. They got Lance Lynn. They got Sonny Gray. Who was the other kid they got? Gibson, too. So that you really, if the stars align, you have something. But also you have a chance to implode and it goes sideways in a hurry, right? But I was disappointed with some of the moves the Twins made as well. But they could be good, yeah. But then again, we've been doing this every year with the stinking White Sox, and they continue to embarrass themselves.
It's a really bad division.
Yeah, no doubt. And Detroit's going to be a sexy pick, too.
Yeah, they are.
A lot of people be on the Tigers. Not to say they have like a long winning streak, but if the Tigers can maybe make the playoffs and the Tigers can have a winning record. What do you think of Minnesota's rotation?
Okay, so, I mean, the year that Sonny Gray put together last year was obviously outstanding.
Yeah.
So they lose him. I will say that, there are high expectations for Joe Ryan. Bailey Ober he's projected to have a really good season this year for the Twins. So if that 1, 2, 3 of Ober, Ryan, and Lopez can be super effective, I love the bullpen. I think Duran is going to be absolutely elite this year. I bet him to win the Cy Young at 500-1. Again, I like to do that every year with the reliever. It's a total long shot for a reason, but I think he's going to have a year like Bautista did last year for the Orioles. And I think the lineup's going to be just fine. We saw that lineup come on last year. Royce Lewis is a total stud.
Right. Yep.
This is a big if, but and we've been saying this for 5 years, if Buxton can never stay healthy, they'll be fine. But 17-1 for the longest winning streak the entire year out of any team. Crazier things have happened. I mean, that Indians team from a handful of years ago won, 20-plus straight?
What happens in the NL Central?
Well, Brewers are coming way back to the pack.
That's a tough. That thing's wide open too.
Cubs, I think, could be players for sure.
Maybe the Reds can do it. And that was a big move by the Cubbies that they locked up Bellinger, because that was. I mean, they were going to get rid of everyone last year, and now chance to. I can't believe. Look at that. St. Louis and the Cubs co-favorites. That's wild. You're right about the Brewers coming back. It's 7-1. Wow. But I would take the Reds to win that.
Yeah,
division.
they're sexy. I mean, I'm looking at their World Series odds and National League odds, and they are way low on the totem pole. Like, there's no way I could bet the Reds this year at the numbers too. Beyond the division I'm talking about here. Maybe the division, maybe they could win. I'll tell you what, if they could get healthy years out of Hunter Green, if Lodolo can somehow stay healthy.
Yeah. Well, maybe we're burying the lead. How about Texas? You're right about Houston, but what's this kid's name? Wyatt Langford?
Oh, yeah.
How good is this kid?
Sure.
You got this top prospect now? I mean, you win the World Series, and now you have this kid in the throw in the arsenal? You're right. Astros get Hader, and they seem to they always have a stacked team. But it's hard not to. I mean, you got all these injuries you had. This rotation. DeGrom goes down. Who cares?
I know.
Who needs them?
Well, if the prospects for the Rangers come up and play as well as they're projected to play, they are going to be lethal again this year.
And the Orioles should be too, with this embarrassment in the farm system with all these guys that the Orioles have.
It's Jackson Holiday, but then this Colton Cowser kid is killing it in spring training, and he might not even play every day. Up next, tonight's college basketball card. It went over this number the first time they played 2 weeks ago, but the game needed overtime, and this is a super high total tonight.
Put the VSiN experts to work for you. Start betting smarter with a VSiN Pro subscription. Sign up for the annual subscription today. Get your first year for only $199. Promo code FTM. Access to everything we do for the entire year. Daily best bets with the leaderboard to see who has the hot hand, the betting splits, the premium analysis, the upcoming March Madness betting guide. Promo code FTM. First year $199. VSiN.com/subscribe. I'll tell you, it was fun talking to Matt Humans. The Mountain West, SEC, American Athletic, and Atlantic 10 conference tournaments are going to be crazy. Wide open. And it's going to be exciting basketball. The SEC, with how Alabama plays in Kentucky, and it's so fun to watch. And these things, especially the Atlantic 10, you can make a case, and I was reading ESPN.com, they're making a case for 3-4 different teams to win some of these conference tournaments. And I agree with them.
How many teams do you think can win the Mountain West? 5?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. UNLV's in the mix, how well they're playing. The Aztecs have always played well out here, and they have a large fan base that comes out. Utah State, the 1 seed. Boise's playing well.
New Mexico's not playing well, but they have the makeup and the talent to win the tournament.
Colorado State might be in the 6-3 game, but still. They got off to a hot start. You can't count out Colorado State. Yeah, that's right. AAC, too. It's South Florida. Can they keep this going? South Florida, Florida Atlantic. Does Memphis get hot at the right time? Charlotte's had a good year.
You see the Memphis game on Sunday?
Now, that was crazy.
They allowed 61 points at halftime to UAB, but UAB could not miss.
Uh-huh.
And then they turned it around, and they outscored them like 60-26 in the second half to blow them out.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
And people were they were getting ready to light Penny Hardaway's time on fire at Memphis as the head coach, and they had an awesome second half when they needed it most.
They got a big one Saturday at Florida Atlantic. Don't look now. Florida Atlantic, last 4 buys. Careful.
Are they going to be
They might have to sweat out Selection Sunday here.
I know it.
If they lose another, they play North Texas coming up on the road. I think that's tomorrow, and then they have Memphis at home on CBS, and that's a tough conference tournament as we talked about coming up. And how about South Florida's laying 7 tonight? I don't see them on the bubble, which they didn't do anything in the non-conference. But to only have 1 loss in that league, and you're going to win the regular season, that's impressive what they've done. And they've won 20-21.
Yeah. They're
not getting any attention. Great story with South Florida.
Do you think Florida Atlantic is going to be a sexy pick this year again? The public do you think they're going to remember what they saw last year with that team?
Well, they've been a major disappointment. You go to the Final Four, should have went to the title game, and you return your starting 5. They haven't bought in, and the defense has stunk all year. I guess it depends who the bracket is, who they play. And Lenardi's got him a 10 playing Florida.
Yeah.
In the 10-7, but that's...
Oh, but what the total in that game would be...
no kidding.
170 probably
no
at least.
Kidding. I can't. No, I can't wait to bet against them. They've just not played a lick of defense the whole year.
Yeah, it's like tonight's game. Now, I've been on the show here talking about these Illinois totals now for a little while anyway, and been playing their overs recently. They get Iowa this weekend.
That'll be fun.
Now, that's probably a game that it depends on where the number is going to be. But like tonight, these are two of the best teams of the over in college basketball for the entire year. The total is 164 and a half in that range. The first time they played, it was 83-78, which is still high scoring, by the way. But that would go under this number. Ken Pom has it 85-84 Purdue. The first time they played, Purdue closed minus 10, 151.5, so this total's got a bump of 13 points tonight. However, the Illini, 21-8 to the over on the year, 9 straight overs, 13-1 last 14 of the over, 17-2 last 19 to the over. I have not bet this game over yet, and I don't know if I'm going to, because 164.5 now is a massive number.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can get there or not.
Yeah.
We'll see, but I'll tell you this. Illinois is a blast to watch. It's up and down the court, transition. Don't play a lot of defense. Let's go as fast as possible. Let's get the shot up in the air with not a lot of time gone in the shot clock. And that it depends on where they go. They're probably going to be a 4 seed as of right now. But in the right region, and if these totals are low enough, that's going to be something to definitely continue to play. Like in the 4-5 matchup or the 4-1 matchup, if they make it, not going to be an easy team for others to figure out.
How about Alabama, Florida?
Well, that total's insane.
Look at this one. We're talking 180s, talking 179, 178 totals. Yeah, going to be great. And Bama was 10 in the first meeting, February 21st.
And they were lucky to win.
Yeah, won in overtime, right?
Now, that total was 174.5. The final was 98-93, but it had to go to overtime for it to go over. Ken Pom has this one, Alabama 91, Florida 88. I don't know. I'm not going to play the under, but it's too high of a total for me because this is like, I'll tie in 2 games here.
This is like the Big 12. I mean, it's just every night you got to bring it.
Sure.
And with the lunch pail and the hard hat, the schedule and the depth of the leagues, the SEC and Big 12.
Alabama just played Tennessee over the weekend, which had a super high total as well, 170-something in that game. But there was a stretch in the second half where it died down a little bit, 81-74 final score. Didn't come close. A game that I was on last night, I was on Queens and the A-Sun to go over. The first tick I got in that game was 19-15 with more than 12 minutes to go. And it's exactly what I wanted. I'm like, this ton of points, up and down, here you go. And then there was a lull to close out the first half, and the game never had any chance to go over. So in these high total games, like this 176, if you get a 4-minute stretch where the ball is like just not dropping and going to the hoop and it rattles out, whatever, and you get some turnovers, that can kill any shot that you have in some of these high total games.
That's something to monitor with the neutral floors now with these conference tournaments too. Bad shooting backgrounds, right. And we'll talk about that coming up with the Arch Madness with the Missouri Valley, which has been a dream tournament for unders for a long, long time. I'm looking, as I mentioned, San Diego State, the big game. Matt's right. UNLV could be on a long winning streak. They're playing great ball, and the one loss they had, they gave away that game at home against Nevada. Aztecs and UNLV both 11-5 in conference. San Diego State's 22-7. UNLV's 18-10. But again, it's imperative that the Aztecs win this. Number one, Lunardi's got them a 4 seed, but you don't want to play UNLV in the first round of the conference tournament out here. That'll be like a 2:30 start in the 4-5 game.
Yeah,
you don't want that. And then UNLV's hot, and suddenly you lose this game, you lose that game. Whoops, you're looking at maybe a 7 seed, something like that. But I do like the Aztecs. Again, they beat them 21-23. They've owned this conference tournament out here, and they've owned UNLV for a long, long time. And Boise's playing well. 21-8, 12-4 in the Mountain West. Taking on Nevada. Boise's won 7 of 9. The 2 losses on the road at Colorado State and Utah State. Lunardi has Boise a 7 seed. And Nevada, last 4 byes. And Nevada has won 7 of 8. They're also 11-5. In conference play.
At what point does this number get to be a little bit too big? Ken Palm has this a 4-point game. Now Boise bumped up to 5.5-point favorites.
I watched the whole game. They look great against New Mexico.
Yeah, they did.
Their offense is humming. So Nevada's a hard team to figure out, but I don't want Nevada in this one. And Boise's been solid at home, too. Colorado State, a 9 seed, and Utah State, a 7 seed. They didn't do much in the non-conference, but I think that's a tick high because they're going to win this league. Remember, we talked about that Friday. They were only 260, 270 at DraftKings. Now they're up to 480. I mean, they have an easy schedule. But
I don't think I'm going to be looking to play under Mountain West Conference win props in the tournament this year.
Yeah?
You know?
Well, to make it 5 in, though. If you get 5-6 bids, that's going to be a big number, but that's a tough one. Because I don't know. Utah State has only won 1 tournament game in their history. Think about that. They're in it all the time.
Well, it was San Diego State who carried the conference last year, obviously.
Right.
And there's also
it was a total fluke and an outlier, though.
Yep. This is a great nugget. We've talked about it now for a good week. From Steve Makinen. You get it, VSiN Pro subscriber. Sign up today at vsin.com/subscribe. College basketball, Power 6 conference revenge angle. So teams looking to avenge an earlier season loss and playing as home favorites of 6 points or more in the final 2 weeks of the regular season are now 65-9 straight up and 54-28 ATS at 65.9%. And this is now 5 consecutive games going back to last Wednesday. Last night, don't ask me how, I watched the entire game. Somehow, some way, Baylor covered the 7.5 against Texas. They're down by 14 in that game in the first half, down by 11 in the second half. Texas, for the first 30 minutes of that game, looked like a team, projected to be at the time maybe an 8-9 seed. Like, that's going to be a team you don't want to play right away. Tons of dudes overall on the court. And then when they get hot like that, watch out. And then it died down a little bit. They forced shots. Baylor was awesome. They're probably going to be a 3 seed. And they eventually went on and covered tonight's game. It would be Kansas. They lost against K-State in overtime earlier this year, 75-70. But now the Jayhawks are laying, 11 in this game tonight?
Yep.
But when you're laying 6 points or more, that's the angle. Teams have been fantastic.
Bill Self going to finish in 4th place?
They're not very good.
Going to happen? Yeah.
They're just not very good this year.
Yeah. He's looking at like maybe a 4 seed.
Yeah.
It's 3 seed, something like
Dropping
that.
like a rock.
Yeah, right.
Let's follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Nigel Seeley is going to join the program next. We'll get some best bets in the soccer world coming up.
Start your morning with a daily dose of winning strategies, insider tips, and the latest buzz with the free VSiN Daily Newsletter. In today's newsletter, get conference tournament predictions as we roll on with the Horizon League, Sun Belt, and the A-Sun today. Expert analysis, latest odds delivered straight to your inbox, absolutely free. VSiN.com/newsletter to subscribe. It's a huge day in soccer. We got the Champions League and the lower leagues with a huge card. English Championship League, League One, League Two, and the man to break it all down is the GOAT, soccer and tennis, Nigel Seeley at Seeley_Nigel on X. Thanks for the time, my friend. Good to see you. I mean, there were a lot of, I guess, I don't want to say blowouts, but depending on what happened in the first leg of these matches, you're seeing big prices here on to advance based on the matches, the 4 matches here the next 2 days. So what are your thoughts on what transpired so far here with the first leg?
Yeah, hello, good morning to you. Yeah, you had Manchester City obviously come in with an overwhelming lead back at the Etihad. I mean, they're not going to struggle to get past Copenhagen over 2 legs. Real Madrid obviously got a winning league coming back to the Spanish capital as well, so they're going to be very heavy favourites to advance. But everyone's expecting Bayern Munich to finally show some form this season. She got some very, very heavy favourites. Obviously, this is the last year of the format has changed for next year on the season on the Champions League, which I don't really understand. I think this is probably the best club soccer it is the best club soccer contest in the world, and things shouldn't really change. But I'm not very happy about the change we're going to see here. But this is going back to some really big matches in this second leg. You know, you got teams trying to overturn some deficits. Other teams going to go there and try to defend and get through. And I think the perfect example of that is in the first match between Bayern Munich against Lazio. I mean, Lazio hold a 1-0 lead from the first leg. Bayern Munich are having a terrible season. They're 10 points adrift from league leaders Bayer Leverkusen. They're probably, I don't think they can win the Bundesliga. I think that's over for them. So this is all they've got. And it's such a surprise to see a team like Bayern Munich struggling domestically. Their form is really poor coming in. They've only won one in their last 5 matches. They went to Rome and got beat by a Lazio side 1-0. But since Lazio won that match against Bayern Munich a couple of weeks ago, their league form has been terrible. I mean, they haven't won. They've lost 3 of their last 4, and they've dropped down to 9th in the Italian Serie A. So both of these sides come in with very poor form, and both of these sides really, this is a huge, huge match. I think it's going to be very, very fiery. I expect it to be a lot of bookings in this match. Bayern Munich have an exceptional home record in European football. If you look at their Champions League record, they haven't lost a Champions League home match in the group stages. No, this is not the group stages, but they haven't lost a group stage match in 10 years. They're very, very hard to beat, and they know what they've got to do. It all depends if the crowd get on their back. The crowd have been quite vocal against them at the Allianz. But I think that this is going to be attack. I think Bayern Munich will go out from the opening gate. I wouldn't bet them at minus 370. I wouldn't bet Lazio at 10-1. I wouldn't bet the draw at 550. I think those odds look a pretty much fair result. But I look at a couple of props here. I think that Bayern Munich will just go all out pace and attack. And I think there'll be lots of corners. I think, the corner handicap, I think it's about 5. I can see Bayern Munich getting 10 corners to 0 for Lazio. Something like that. And, there's corners in the first half. They've got to go all out attack over 5.5 corners in the first half. So my attention on the Bayern Munich game will certainly be on a prop market. But I think Bayern Munich will have enough to get through. And I think they'll sort of settle a crowd there that isn't very happy at the moment with their domestic form. So Bayern Munich will go through, but I think the best value lies on the corner markets and the props if you can get access to that. The second match this evening, we see Paris Saint-Germain going to Spain to Real Sociedad. Paris Saint-Germain lead 2-0 in the head-to-head. In the first leg, sorry. Real Sociedad, again, in terrible form in their league, only 1 win in 9. Slid right down to the table into 7th. Their form since they reached the knockout stages of the Champions League has really dropped. Paris Saint-Germain, massive underachievers in this tournament. You can bet them at $2 to draw 250 and Real Sociedad plus 125. I really think this is a match that I would not have a bet at all if I was looking at it. Probably a small lean for the draw. I could see this probably being a draw. Now, Paris Saint-Germain, very happy with a 2-0 lead. I don't think Real Sociedad are good enough to progress, and Real Sociedad aren't playing well. So I think this is a difficult match to have any kind of opinion. But at a price of plus 250, I think given everything in stake, I think the draw here potentially is a small lean for the 2 matches this evening.
Okay. Man City, another huge favorite. They're $7 tomorrow. And as you mentioned, they beat Copenhagen 3-1 in the first leg. How do you think Pep will treat this, knowing what's on deck? You're a huge favorite. You're going to advance. And then you have the showdown Sunday against Liverpool for first place in the Prem.
Really intriguing one. I mean, $7 is a good price because the best price over here in the UK is $9. So they're a heavy favourite, and that $7 will probably go. I would expect him to completely rotate. I mean, it will be, there'll be hardly any De Bruyne. I don't expect to play Foden. I don't expect to play Haaland. I don't expect to play. But the players coming in are world class as well. The Alvarez, the replacement for Haaland, is a World Cup winner for Argentina, and Argentina's number 1 striker. So there's so much strength at his disposal here. It doesn't really matter what happens. For Copenhagen, I mean, I think their season is a different time scale to most of Europe. So they're coming towards the end of their season. They've only got 3 matches to go, and they're involved in a title race. They could win the title. So really, I know they want to go and put an effort in against Manchester City, but they're not going to win this match. And they could lose the title or could win the title in the next 3 matches over in Denmark. They lost at the weekend to Midtjylland, which was a terrible result for them. So they want to win their domestic title. That has to be the priority, I think. I'm not saying that if they get a chance of winning this, but I think it'll just be over there. Just keep everyone fit. Go for the first 25 minutes. See if we can score and see if we can scare Man City. But Man City are an unbeaten run of 19 matches. They're not going to lose this match. I know a lot of people will probably be looking at the handicap, looking at 2.25 goals and getting with Copenhagen because of the team news coming out of Manchester City. I think Man City to win 2-0 could be probably a better bet. And I think at a decent price, Man City 1-0, which is 9-1. Man City 2-0 at plus 650. Get everyone fit and well for the Liverpool match of the weekend and give a chance to some kids to have a run out in the Champions League. That's how I think he'll play it. So I think a very narrow Man City win here, but they will get the job done. And instead of betting them at minus $9 or minus $7, just take a couple of those correct scores, 1-0, 9-1 and 2-0 at plus 650.
Do you think Real Madrid could be another low-scoring match? They won the first leg 1-0. Would you recommend the under there or no?
Well, Real Madrid are on absolutely unbelievable form. They're unbeaten in 30 matches. I mean, they are the team in this competition who are, and then Man City are really peaking well. Vinicius Junior is playing exceptional, and we all know how good Jude Bellingham is. Fantastic player. I wouldn't bet them at minus 185, put it that way, Real Madrid, but I would bet them at 2-1. 2-1 they are to win to nil. I think that's a big, big price. They've got the best defensive record in Spain. You know, everyone knows how good they are going forward. They've only conceded 7 goals at home. Leipzig aren't the Leipzig of a couple of seasons ago that scored 3 and conceded 6. They're very much not that offensive-minded at the moment. And they have some big, big matches coming up, Leipzig, because they want to finish 4th in the Bundesliga and get into the Europa League for next season. Currently, they're in 5th. And they've got some winnable matches coming up again. So they might look at this game and think, we'll give it a go. But if they go 1-0 behind or 2-0 behind at the Bernabeu, they might rest players for bigger matches coming up domestically. I think Real Madrid are too strong. I think they get all the plaudits for going forward, but defensively, they're one of the best in European football. Brilliant goalkeeper. And I think they can keep Leipzig at bay here. So I think the difference between minus 185 Real Madrid on the money line or plus $2 for Real Madrid to win to nil is too big a difference for me. So I'll probably be prepared to have a little bit of pizza money on Madrid to win to nil at 2-1.
Okay, excellent. And it's a great card, as I mentioned, a deep card in soccer, the lower leagues. How about the English Championship League? We were betting against them and the unders early on. Sheffield Wednesday couldn't score. And now they're 3 back of 4 clubs here trying to avoid relegation. What do you think of Sheffield Wednesday today?
Well, it's been a wild couple of months in the Championship because 2 teams at the bottom of the table, Sheffield Wednesday and Queen's Park Rangers, looked like they were certain to be involved to get relegated. They have gone on an unbelievable good run.
Yeah.
Really, and they're playing exceptionally well. Those 2 sides are probably in the top 5 in current form at the moment, despite their league position. So it's really shaken up now, and there's teams up to 14th place in the Championship table, all the way down. They're involved in a relegation battle. So a huge couple of months coming in at the bottom of the Championship. I like Sheffield Wednesday here. I think they've been in really, really good form. They've won their last 3 matches at home. They have lost once in their last 7, winning 4 and drawing 2. They had a good win at the weekend. They're playing the Plymouth side, who looked as though they were going to be okay. They've just come back from the League One last season into the Championship. They looked like they were going to be okay. Their manager left to go to Stoke City. The new manager's come in and they're dragged into a battle. They've only won once in their last 7 matches. And I think if you can get even money, Sheffield Wednesday's a great bet. But I'd go down to as low as 1.05 for Sheffield Wednesday to win this match. I think 1.0 minus 105 is a good bet. And the other bet I like is in the League Two, team that I've bet in the last couple of weeks. But the weather conditions have been awful for Bradford. Their last 2 matches have been postponed. But again, League Two, they're in about 16th position, I think, Bradford, or 15th position in the table. But they can get involved in the playoff. They're so tight there to get in the playoff. They're playing a Doncaster side tonight. Got nothing to play for. Bradford haven't conceded in 5, unbeaten in 5. And I think at minus 110, they can win as well.
All right. Excellent job. We'll talk to you later in this week. Thanks for coming on.
Take care.
All right. I saw his tweet, too. The pitch at Bradford. Ooh, ton of rain. Ugly. Bad. Nigel Seeley, Bradford City, and Sheffield Wednesday, and then the Champions League as well. Good NBA card coming up tonight, and great numbers on Wembanyama. Straight ahead, VSiN, follow the money. Conference tournaments are here, and only 20 games left in the NBA regular season. Great menu as always at DraftKings, and new customers can deposit $5 and get a no-sweat bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets if your first bet loses. Download the app, use promo code VSiN when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Don't forget all those yes-no odds on the bubble teams as well to make the dance. Everything up at DraftKings.
All right, so what do you want to do tonight in the NBA? What sticks out to you? Some of these numbers are on the move and have been now since we've been on the air. For example, the Celtics were hovering around 7.5 a little bit earlier this morning. They're now up to 8 against the Cavaliers again. Tip time, we're 10.5 hours away from this game tipping off tonight. Porzingis questionable, Jaylen Brown questionable as well, but we do know this for the Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell is going to miss at least 3 more games, and this team has been in a funk. They are 1-8 in their last 9 games overall covering.
Yep. I'm going to ride the streak with the Celtics as they've been so hot in burying teams. And again, haven't lost in over a month. It's bad with what's going on with Cleveland, but it's been horrific when Mitchell has been out. You lose to the Knicks when Brunson got hurt. You lost to the 76ers. It's bad. Remember, and again, he was carrying this team when they had the injuries. They are a completely different team without him, and I can't do it. I don't want any part of the Cavs right now. I don't care if it gets to 9. I don't want them.
I'm not going to make a case for the guy because he's missing games now. But honestly, when you look at it and what he means overall to the Cavaliers, Donovan Mitchell should have been much lower on the odds board than 500 to 1 to win the MVP.
Oh, yeah.
He should have been basically in that mix, like the next tier behind
who knows what the
Joker and SGA.
Sorry, yeah. Who knows what the numbers are if they kept winning. And they still would have been a strong 2 seed with a nice lead over Milwaukee in the division.
You're exactly right, because look at this. Yeah. When he misses games, they're lost.
Yep.
And so without him, he's the catalyst for the team. If he doesn't play, I want nothing to do with this team. If he does play, okay, they can do some damage and make a playoff run.
Yeah, it's fortunate tonight for TNT. A bad beat because you don't have Mitchell tonight in the first game. In the second game, you don't have Booker with the sprained ankle, and he's out 7-10. Man, this is getting juicy now with the Suns. I mean, 2-1 now to miss the playoffs at DraftKings. Most difficult remaining schedule. You just lost 2 in a row at home, and now you're not going to have this guy for up to 10 days. And you got to take on the champs on the road. So you said 9.5, maybe not enough. You could be right because it's sitting right there for Denver. The league is what OKC and Minnesota did here. Denver now plus 110 at DraftKings to get the 1 seed.
Yeah, this is probably going to happen now. They've been so good since the All-Star break. Plus 14.6 net rating, third best overall. They've won and covered every single game. The Suns overall, by the way, on the year for the most part, they've been the second worst team covering numbers behind the Hawks. But since the All-Star break, you look at the advanced numbers, they're not good. I don't know why people were so high on the team thinking that Bradley Beal was going to go there and make this team like a true contender in the Western Conference. And Durant at his age now, I mean, can he carry a team deep into the playoffs? It feels like the ship has sailed. Guys had an unbelievable career, but they're nicked up all the time. The Western Conference is too good. And now with this Nuggets team, they'll probably show their force here tonight. And they could, this could be a spot where they, the white flag is waved in the fourth quarter by the Suns because it's so ugly.
You just see what they did to the Lakers? So the Lakers opened up the regular season, their first home game. Denver beat them. They played when they unveiled the Kobe statue. Denver beat them. And then LeBron gets the 40,000 point, and Denver beats them too. I mean, it's like we're going to urinate on your parade, and we're going to send you home unhappy or what could do. So it
was all fun and games for 3 months.
That's right.
And
that's exactly right.
Forget about it.
Yep. And all our future tickets are in trouble now in the West. The other one, I got to see what Dallas does tonight. You go to Boston and get buried, okay. And that's coming off the birthday party with Luka. That's a bad loss Sunday at home against Philly.
I agree.
Philly has been so bad without Embiid. I mean, remember, they got boat raced at home by the Nets and gave up like 130 points, how bad they've been. And you lose that game at home? So now I think the Pelicans are going to win that division. And when you're buying into Dallas, it's like, they slip on a banana peel. And now they're probably going to be stuck in the play-in too. I mean, I know Sacramento's got a tough schedule, but as I said earlier, as we look at it today, Suns, Mavs, Lakers, Warriors are your play-in games. So 2 of those teams are going home, not even going to make it. But playing Indiana again, they just played a great game in Indiana a couple weeks ago. I don't want the under, I'll tell you that. But that's very disappointing with how the Mavs have been playing when they were playing good ball. But I give people credit. A lot of people pointed it out. Consider the competition and who they were going against. The same people were saying that about Cleveland, too, when they had the 17-2 run. So Indiana won 133-111 February 25th. And now we go to Dallas for this one tonight. And I don't think the total's high enough. I mean, assuming everyone plays, I don't see with this frenetic pace that this goes under 245.
Let me give you Luka Doncic's last 4 games. He had 45, 14 assists, and 9 rebounds against Cleveland on February 27th. The next night, he had 30, 16 assists, and 11 rebounds against Toronto. Then you flip it into March. He had 37, 12, and 11 against Boston. And 2 nights later against Philadelphia, this was actually on Sunday, the bad loss. He had 38, 11, and 10. So he's had those 4 games back to back to back. There's also another game in there where he had a near triple-double. It's a high total tonight. As you said, 246. You don't want the under. You look at playing the over. Luka is plus 250 to have a triple-double in the game tonight. Plus 250, the way that he is trending.
Yeah.
Do you have any desire to bet that number?
Man, that's not bad. I'll tell you who's really struggling is Halliburton. He's had some awful games here lately.
Yeah, not great.
For the Pacers after the hot start he was. And we've talked about this too, that you have the Knicks up here and the Cavs and also the Sixers. Well, here come the Magic and the Heat. You know, and they're gonna pass them because take a look at Orlando's schedule. Do they play Charlotte tonight? Who do they play?
Yeah, they're a big favorite.
I mean, their schedule's a joke the rest of the way. So that's what these other teams have to worry about. Like the Sixers could probably be in the play-in because they need Embiid back in the worst way, and the Knicks got to get healthy too, as well. So that's going to be wild with the play-in also in the East. But Orlando's playing good ball, and I would lay it with Orlando tonight too. These other ones I talked about: 76ers, Nets, Hawks, Knicks. You can't get a read. You know, Atlanta's so bad ATS, as you've mentioned, and we've gone over many times, but Brunson's questionable. And then with the Nets, I mean, you're on a back-to-back. You're coming off a horrible loss last night at home to Memphis. There's no home court advantage. There's zero atmosphere. They have no fans. Ben Simmons not playing again. How bad that deal is. I mean, Ben Simmons and Ayton. Who hates their job more out of those two guys? But that's... Remember, the Sixers had that ugly loss at home against the Nets, too. So these are teams I can't figure out.
Yeah, they played back on February 3rd, and Brooklyn beat them 136 to 121. That was in Philadelphia, by the way.
Yep.
So, again, the Nets, they were really good against Atlanta last week in back-to-back games.
Right.
Including those 2 wins. They're 10, 26, and 1 ATS, their last 37. So it tells you how bad they've been. And Atlanta, again, I'd like to make a case for the Knicks today. Even though Brunson is questionable, I can't do it. I got to swear off betting anything to do with the Atlanta Hawks for the rest of the season. I know I did that earlier this year, but I thought things were going to get better after Trae Young got hurt.
I got to look at the under, though. But, yeah, that's 4 straight unders for Atlanta now.
The only thing, and 6 straight for the Knicks.
Yeah.
6 straight, 8 out of 9 for the Knicks to the under.
Yeah.
Hawks are 19 and 41 overall ATS. The only thing I'd consider in this game would be a DeJounte Murray double-double. He's now plus 145 to do that tonight. And the other one here is San Antonio at Houston. We don't know the status yet tonight of Victor Wembanyama, if he's going to go. Well, they're in good form now. 2 straight wins is a pretty good dog. 6.5-point dogs against Indiana over the weekend, beat them. 11-point dogs against OKC, beat them outright as well. San Antonio has covered 5 of their last 6. In terms of player props for Wembanyama, he's gone over 1.5 made threes in 8 out of his last 10 games. Over 13.5 rebounds and assists, 7 out of his last 8 games. 8 straight overs on his steals plus blocks prop. 8 straight overs on his blocks prop alone. And 7 out of 8 overs on his assist prop. If he does play, I would bet the Spurs right now plus 7.5, and I take a little bit of the on the money line as well. I've watched them play a little bit of both their last. They were in charge of that Indiana game.
Oh, yeah.
They did not look like a 7-point dog in that game at all.
And the Thunder game.
Yes, totally agree.
They got some juice now. I mean, they are playing hard for Pop, and this is contagious now with getting Wembanyama Rookie of the Year and getting rid of the limits restriction and letting the guy go here. Because remember that ATS run, they almost won at Los Angeles, and they almost beat Sacramento on the road. They're right in all these games now.
I saw one book move him to minus 10,000 to win Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
So forget about that.
Yeah,
it was fun with Holmgren there for a minute too.
Right. 45-1. Will he get a quadruple double? Right, one game the rest of the year. With the numbers he's putting up, I won't rule it out.
Up next, NFL draft and free agency. Adam Chernoff's going to join the show. The Broncos are going to part ways with Russell Wilson. Does that mean they're dead set on taking a quarterback in the first round? We'll ask him coming up next.